so in this video, we're going to talk about how and where to obtain your life insurance license. We're going to talk about companies or business models to avoid that could have you falling for an MLM trap where you're paying more money than you should for the pre-licensing and the licensing itself. We're also going to talk about strategies that I've used and I've taught many other agents to use to pass on their first attempt and not have this 2-week process take 4, 5, 6, 7 months. So first things first, if you have not decided on a company or an agency to work for, you want to Google or use any search engine and type in life insurance pre-licensing course in the state that you reside in. It varies from state to state. Obviously, every state has different compliance in place and different statutes, so you want to make sure that you're taking it in the state that you reside in. If you already found an agency or a company, you want to ask them for a discount or a voucher. And what this does is it either gives you a massive discount on the pre-licensing course, or it gives you a voucher that gets you the pre-licensing course at no cost to you. Do not fall for the MLM companies that make money off of you before you even sell. What do I mean by that? So unfortunately, there have been establishments that have found a way to monetize off of agents, off of people before they even get licensed. So the ethical way to make money off people in this industry is to bring them onto your agency. You give them resources, technology maybe, training, scripts, you pour your time and energy into them. And once they're fully equipped and they're off on their own and they sell, you can make your money. It's a fair return on investment, right? It's an equal exchange of value. Well, like I said, unfortunately, there have been MLM companies that found a way to make money off of people in the pre-licensing phase. So what do? They charge you hundreds, and I've heard of cases where they charge over $1,000 to get them a pre-licensing course and all these tips and tricks and technology before they're even licensed. When you see something not adding up, if you Google pre-license course selling life insurance in your state and you see it's only $200, $300, $400 and a company's charging you $500, $600, $700, $800, $900, something's not adding up. They're trying to monetize off of you before you're even successful, which does not align with my morals, essentially. I don't think that's ethical in any way, shape, or form, and you want to stay away from those type of companies. Now, you could also do your own research, look online. The best way to tell is if they're charging you more than what it would cost to go on your own route. The only time you should partner with a company, essentially, or work for them is when it's cheaper, is when the business model aligns with what you're trying to accomplish. There's a long-term, clear path for you with this company. Do your research, do your due diligence, make sure you resonate with whoever it is that you're looking to work with. And if they have a discount or a voucher, it's a lot better than if they're charging you much, much more than it would cost you to get licensed on your own. It's a 20-hour course if you're just doing the life license part of it. You could do the life and health, but we're going to strictly focus on the life license. The best plan of action is 2 hours a day of full dedicated commitment with no distractions. Again, what I did when I was in my pre-licensing phase is I was studying 2 hours every single day, 10 days straight. Every single day I set 2 hours a day. You want to take the simulation exam if it's available. When I took my pre-licensing course with ExamFX, there was something called a simulation exam, and if you haven't guessed by now, it simulates the actual exam. At the time, there were 6 different versions of the state exam, different wording, things of that nature. So I'd notice I'd take the simulation, right? Every day I'm studying, I'd set time aside to take the simulation exam, right? And I'd pass one day, I'd fail the next day. I'd pass one day, pass the next day, fail the next day. It was really weird because how am I passing and failing? Well, I found out that there was different variations. I got to the point at the end of my studying phase where I was passing every single time. And I just had this gut feeling that I got it all down pat. I got every variation of the state exam down to the T. And I passed on my first attempt. And I'm not a test taker by any means. I'm a dropout. And I never had the mental capacity or discipline in school to pay attention. And I came to a realization, whatever it is that you set time up for, that you're fully committed for and fully dedicated for, you'll pass. There's no such thing as a hard exam. The only time something is hard is if you're not well equipped and prepared for it. That's just the brutal truth. So you don't want to procrastinate studying nor scheduling. So what I did was I put a lot of pressure on myself to get this down as soon as possible. I scheduled the exam before I even began studying. The day that I enrolled into pre-licensing, I scheduled my exam. That way I put pressure on myself. I believe I did it 14 days out from the day that I started, and I studied every single day, 2 hours every single day. I believe an hour and a half was course related and the quizzes in the course, and a half hour was the simulation exam, if I'm not mistaken. Every single day, that's what I did, and that's how I passed on my first attempt. So the more that you're dedicated, you don't want any kind of distractions. Once you're studying, you're strictly studying. Don't skim through it. Don't fly through it. Don't skip over stuff. Just retain as much information as humanly possible. Apply a lot of pressure on yourself and make this a time-sensitive thing so that you don't procrastinate. Because if you procrastinate, we have a natural tendency to delay things that we don't immediately prioritize. Make sure you don't procrastinate. After passing the life insurance exam, you want to head to NIPR to apply for the issuance of your license. I'm not talking about the pre-licensing. When you're done with that, you finish pre-licensing, you take the state exam. At the time of this video, there's a proctor exam that's available in some states, which means you're allowed to take the exam from home and not have to go to a testing center with somebody watching you while you're actively testing on a webcam. Or you can go to a testing facility. When I did my exam, I went to a testing facility in the state that I reside in. Right after you pass the actual exam through the proctor or through the testing facility, you head to NIPR and you apply for the issuance of your license. During this process, they typically will check to see if you passed. They want to see if you have the pre-licensing hours, which is 20 hours. And when you deal with a reputable pre-licensing course company, they automatically report that. And they also want to make sure that your criminal background check passes and you're allowed to legally solicit life insurance. That basically sums it up. Best of luck. I wish you nothing but the best. Make sure you don't procrastinate. Make sure you apply a lot of pressure on yourself. Make sure you study 2 hours a day with no distractions whatsoever and retake the simulation exam if available. If not, there should be some kind of flashcards or study strategy somewhere in that course. Make sure you repetitively do that. Don't procrastinate and get that license as soon as you possibly can.